Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Dhamma of Peace series, number 10. Sankhata and Asankhata elements. Sankhata dhatu, Asankhata dhatu. Before Buddha, people did not know existence was suffering, but pleasurable and desirable. As they did not know life was suffering, they had no thought of escaping from existence or round of rebirths. Naturally, no one knew the cause and the cessation of suffering. Only after Buddha's enlightenment did people know why existence is suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path leading to the cessation of suffering. The full Dhamma or the Four Noble Truth. We need to understand it, abandon it, realize it, and develop it. And we have discussed about these Four Noble Truths and its qualities, and how to understand, abandon, realize, and develop. Previously, in the, I think about 2 talks back from now. So, if you want to remind yourself, you can go back and listen to that talk. However, to understand the truth of suffering, dukkha sassa, the truth of suffering, dukkha sassa, Satipatthana Vipassana yogis begin with the Dhamma to develop. Which one is Dhamma to develop? Magga sassa, the Eightfold Noble Path. So, you start with the 4th one, Magga sassa. Yogi observes every physical and mental object that is arising at present. In one life, that's what it is. Observing the body or matter, in Pali it's called rupa, is to know its specific characteristics. such as rough, tough, hard, soft, cuddly. In the scriptural term, it's called earth element, Patui Dhatu. Hot, warm, and cold is the fire element. Tejo Dhatu. Basically, it is the temperature, or you can call it heat. Movement, stiffness, pressure, vibration. They are the wind element, Vayo Dhatu. Liquidity, fluidity, stickiness. Called water element. Apo Dhatu. Basically, this water element is cohesion and dispersion qualities of matter. Cohesion and dispersion. If one experientially knows the characteristics piece by piece, each characteristics by each, or you can call it singularly. At that moment, there is no sense of I. That no sense of I means anatta, non-self. I, you, me, my, mine, it, the ego. Individuality, personality, self. That is a sense of I, or atta. And when you don't have that sense of I, it's called anatta, non-self. The rapid disappearance of the physical and mental objects from moment to moment is the experience of impermanence, anicca. You don't have to think, oh, this is anatta or this is anicca. Simply experiencing object arising and disappear, rising and disappear, and you are quite sharply and clearly know through experience. That means you are understanding anicca, impermanence. When you experience the object by itself with this specific characteristic without any other attached, there's no I involved, anatta. You don't have to say it, anicca or anatta. You simply are experiencing that understanding. Or understand the concept, experience the concept. A sense of operation by the constant disappearance of the objects. Okay. These objects are, at first you experience rise and disappear, rise and disappear. And later, when you become more and more skillful, you only see the end, the end, disappearing. At that time, you feel a sense of oppression by that constant disappearance. And that is the understanding or experience of dukkha, suffering. So, impermanence, suffering, and non-self. These three are called three common characteristics of mind and matter. Three common characteristics of mind and matter. Samanya Lakhana in Pali. Samanya Lakhana. You remember the Pali word for the third stage of insight? Samasana Jnana. It comes from this Samanya Lakhana, understanding the three characteristics, three common characteristics. So that's why the first time when you start experiencing these three characteristics come at the stage of third insight. Third stage of insight out of the 13. Here, I would like to expand on Buddha's Anatta Vada. In other words, the view of non-self. We quite often literally say, anatta means lack of controllability. That's one way of interpreting it. Lack of controllability. Because as soon as I come in, self come in, you like to control everything. Not only you try to control everything the way you want it. But through the practice you understand you can't control at all. That's why control is self. Lack of controllability is non-self. That's one way of explaining in English. Lack of controllability is that the same as no self or no soul. They are all one and the same, different words. No self, no soul, or non-self, no soul, lack of controllability, anatta. So, we are talking about anatta. To understand that more clearly, one must understand what atta is. Anatta is the negation of atta. One must understand what atta or soul or spirit is. Atta, soul or spirit is an eternal entity. It lives forever. It cannot be destroyed. Created by God or Mahabrahma. God in the sense of religion, Christianity and Islam and so on. Mahabrahma in the sense of Hinduism, Brahmanism. Basically the same as God, but in here they are called Mahabrahma. So in other words, it changes slightly from one religion to the other, but God or Mahabrahma is the first cause. The first cause. Let's call it Supreme Being. The Supreme Being is the first cause. Before anything else, it exists and it causes anything that comes after it. That's why God is the concept of the first cause. Of course, again, it varies the eternal soul or transmigration from life to life and how it attains peace. These little small deviation occurs from religion to religion where they accept Supreme Being, but the essence, soul is eternal, indestructible, created by Supreme Being is the same. So that is Atta. In brief explanation, Buddha's anatta view, non-self view, states that life is nothing except mind and matter. When you call life, when you call existence, whatever you want to call it, the only that is true, correct, and pertains to these all definitions is only mind and matter. Consciousness and materiality. Citta and Rupa in English, so in Pali. It only have mind and matter. There is no eternal soul or any sort of entity exist. No such thing as soul exists. No such thing as entity exists. No such thing as a little thing that can never be destroyed does not exist. The only thing that exists is mind and matter, consciousness and materiality. And also Buddha explained in another way, because people try to probe and poke in many different ways. Buddha refuted that anatta, non-self, means it does not have. The key word is have. It does not have eternal atta, eternal consciousness, individuality, or beings. So Buddha stated in two ways. It does not have such thing of self and soul. Have. Another one. Other than mind and matter, nothing exists. Two keywords, exist and have. Instead, that whole thing, what they call atta, is a life force or the quality of life. And it is a natural phenomenon. If one sees anatta, in other words, if one sees the true nature of what self or soul is, what is the true nature? Just a process or phenomenon of mind and matter. And if one sees that, if one feels that, if one understands that, if one experiences that, then one is free of craving. One is free of the concept of self, I, id, ego. They are all gone. I is gone, it is gone, ego is gone, self is gone, soul is gone. When one is free from craving, tanha. Because that's the cause. If you uproot the cause, the craving, its effect, suffering disappear. Why does suffering disappear? Because there is no craving. At that time, you see the three common characteristics. And there is no more I, no more self, no more soul. Just a brief, rounded statement of it. But let's go a little detail. However, throughout the succeeding stages of Vipassana insight, we have 13 stages of Vipassana insight. The three common characteristics, what are they? Impermanent, suffering, and non-self. The three common characteristics of mind and body becomes more and more evident. The higher the insight stages, they become more evident, clearer, sharper. It sinks into the mind. You understand it, but still you understand a little better. Still you understand a lot better with stages of insight. And these three common characteristics are the main focus of observation of a yogi up to the 13th stage of insight. Up to that level, all that we are observing is physical object and mental object, but we focus on experiencing the three common characteristics. So you can say we focus on the three common characteristics up to the stage of 13 insight. In Pali, that is called Gotrabu. Up to that point, you are still a Putujana, ordinary worldling, or ordinary person. From Buddhist point of view, there are two kinds of person. One is ordinary person and one is noble person. So you attain the 13th insight, you are still an ordinary person. You have experienced it. You understand it, the three common characteristics. Still, you haven't passed the threshold yet. So, once one has passed over the 13th insight and experienced the path consciousness, for the first time, one becomes a noble person. Ariya, noble person is Ariya. There are 4 levels of noble person. The first stage or the first noble person is called the stream winner, Satipatthana. What it means is you have been into the stream now. Once you got into the stream, along with the flow of water, eventually you will arrive at the ocean. The ocean is Nibbana, so now you are totally into the stream of Dhamma that will take you to Nibbana eventually, if you walk hard. And the second noble person is called once returner, Sakadagami. The third noble person is non-returner, Anagami. And the fourth is the liberated one, Arahata or Arahant. The realization of the cessation of suffering. Okay, the word is realization. The third noble truth can only be realized. The realization of cessation of suffering upon the complete abandonment of the cause of suffering, which is craving. When you have completely abandoned the craving, you realize the third noble truth. Nibbana, or cessation of suffering. Cessation of suffering is Nibbana. Nibbana is the cessation of suffering. The ordinary worldings belong to the domain of Sankhata, the heading of a talk. I don't translate it, but we need to understand what it is. That's why I'm building up all the talks up to this level in this Dhamma talk. So, ordinary worldling or ordinary persons belong to the domain of Sankhata, Sankata. So to understand that, you just have to understand the qualities and process. And these people focus on the three common characteristics of mind and matter, or the three common characteristics of the five aggregates. Five aggregates is the expansion of mind and matter into five segments. So, that's a key point. Ordinary person practice hard vipassana, Satipatthana, vipassana, but always their focus is on the three common characteristics of the five aggregates. You remember five aggregates? Materiality, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. Expansion of the two, mind and body, or mind and materiality. You observe those things, but your focus is to experience the three common characteristics. That is ordinary worldlings. And all four noble persons, first, second, third, and fourth level of Ariya, belong to the domain of Asankhata. The first one is Sankhata, and the second one is and Sankhata. When you add it negates the meaning of whatever that word is attached to. Asankhata. And in here, they pay attention or they focus on the cessations of mind and matter. They don't focus on the mind and matter. They don't focus on the three common characteristics anymore. But they pay attention to the cessation of mind and matter, or mind and body. So, what does the cessation of mind and body looks like, so experience like, or feels like? Those are the 10,001 questions. Can be answered. One must experience it, or one must realize it. The correct word is realize, not experience. So, let's go back to the word Sankhata. Sankhata, Sankhata. Sankhata dhatu. Dhatu means elements. Buddha associated Sankhata with dhatu, in other words, elements, so that we won't be confused with any other thing, a life or a being or this or that. Elements, dhatu, which means process, phenomenon, goes in there. So, Sankhata dhatu, in general, the meaning of Sankhata dhatu is, this is a general interpretation, general translation, let's call it. some phenomena are conditioned by other phenomena. That is one way it is being written in English. I'm just repeating exactly as it is written. Some phenomena are conditioned by other phenomena. Or some translate it as any phenomena produced by other phenomena through cause. In other words, cause and effect, cause and effect. A process, there's a process. It is conditioned by another process. That another process is conditioned by another process. It's all condition. Or produced. One is produced by the another set of conditions. Cause and effect. Produced or conditioned. That is how it is translated in English books. So what is it? Takes a little bit phenomena by phenomena and produced by one phenomena by another phenomena. So let's tighten it up a little bit more. It is a group of causes, not just one, a group of causes conditioning the existence of the five aggregates. So five aggregates is the effect, and these five aggregates come to be because of a group of conditions causes them. That is Sankhata Dhatu. I'll repeat again. A group of causes conditioning the existence of the five aggregates is Sankhata Dhatu. You remember five aggregates? Materiality, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. Materiality is rupa. The other four is mind. Feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. Those come to be. Those arise because a group of causes condition them. Natural causes, not God, not Supreme Being, not Brahma. That is what Sankhata Dhatu means from the Buddhist perspective. Now let's go to the Asankhata Dhatu, which is the opposite of Sankhata. Asankhata Dhatu. So we can state like this. Asankhata Dhatu is the cessation of the five aggregates. When the five aggregates cease to exist, that is Asankhata element, which means it is the opposite of Sankhata element. That is Asankhata. So let's expand it a little bit on it. It is not caused by conditioned phenomena. Asankhata element is not caused by conditioned phenomena. Or Asankhata Dhatu is not caused by a group of causal condition. Or, just to be rounded to the translation, Asankhata dhatu or element cannot be produced by a group of causal conditions. That's Asankhata dhatu. For people who are scholar, Ajata in Pali, A-J-A-T-A-N, Ajata. That's what it means. It cannot be conditioned or produced by a group of causal condition. In other words, there's no conditions produced it. It does not arise or become by itself. It just doesn't happen accidentally. It does not arise or become by itself. Because if it arises and if it becomes, whatever it is that arises and that becomes, have to disappear. And that is in Pali what is Abhutan, A-B-U-T-A-N. Okay, another way to understand this Asankhata. It is not caused by the first cause. Very specific now. The first two lines are just with a group of conditions. Because at the time of Buddhas, this creation of all things by the Mahabrahma is very, very popular. So the Buddha said, it is not caused by the first cause. So what does it mean by it is? It is not created by the Supreme Being. It is not created by eternal God. It is not created by the Mahabrahma. That's called the first cause. In Pali, that word is Akatan, A-K-A-T-A-N. So this is how Buddha explained, very specific, because people probe and poke in many different ways. So this Asankhata element is unconditioned. There is no condition. It is causeless. It is the cessation of five aggregates. It exists on its own without conditioned phenomena. Nobody caused them, but it just simply exists. Let's say to understand space exists. Throughout the universe, space exists. Just like this Asankhata element simply exists. And those lines are Asankhata element. Those lines represent Asankhata element, dhatu. An Ariya, noble person, takes this Asankhata element as the focus of attention or the object that they take at the moment of the cessation of mind and matter. So, it is Nibbana, all these things are, that can only be realized by those who become Ariya. Without becoming an Ariya, you cannot realize this Asankhata element or Nibbana. With all-knowing wisdom, Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths. The Eightfold Noble Truths in detail, the three common characteristics, Sankhata element and Asankhata element, for the benefits of the wise. What does it mean by the wise? The wise are one who are trying to abandon craving. It's called wise. So, opposite of wise is a wise person is a fool. A fool is a person who is full of ignorance and craving. When you have a lot of ignorance and craving, avijja and tanha is called fool. And people who are really working hard to abandon that ignorance and craving is called the wise. And Buddha taught all these Dhamma for the wise, because the fool will not take it, even if you put right in front of them. So may all of you be able to practice mindfulness insight meditation and experience the Asankhata dhatu. Realize the Asankhata dhatu as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much.